Wilds of Eldraine, or better known as New Drain, or simply The Drain, comes out September 8th. A week after that, you won't care. But before we get into that set, we need to talk about Commander Masters, which is what this video is about. The premium set that really just wasn't all that premium. Despite being expensive, having well-established cards, well, it's happening. The sky is falling, and if you're like me and you've been watching this channel for a long time, then you know that we've been really bearish on this product since the set was fully spoiled. I personally have not spent 1 cent on Commander Masters. Actually, I did buy a copy of Exsanguinate Foil for $2. But that said, I haven't bought anything else from it. Now, there's been lots of questions on the channel about when to buy singles and what's the future of this set. I'm going to give you my opinion on that stuff, and we're going to answer some of the top questions that we've seen from the community, people that have popped up in comments. We're not going to go through any of those comments, but I'm going to answer those questions in this video. Mainly what we're talking about today is why did the set flop? Well, we're going to look back at a similar set. We're going to discuss what worked and what didn't work and how WotC can improve in the future. And then later on in the video, I'm going to tell you what my new strategy is that's saving me a ton of money on Magic the Gathering cards while still allowing me to grow my collection. But first, most of you who watch the videos are not subscribed to our videos. It creates a tragic emptiness in my heart. It burns with the darkness of 1,000 collapsed suns, which might be the most emo shit that I've ever said. I'm missing your bed. I never sleep. Avoiding. Now, I know most of you have already left because this is a talking head video and it isn't covering Wilds of Eldraine, which is how the MTG hive mind works. We care about the thing, we salivate over it. We are addicted to opening new packs. We open them despite knowing that we're going to open them at a loss. That's how MTG is designed. That's how Hasbro has engineered it. And that is the reality that we're living in. Most of us just want to open the new product because it's the new hot thing. But all of the time, whenever we do, we end up just losing money. And my goal here at Jake and Joel Are Magic, not financial advice, is to prevent that from happening. So Commander Masters sucks. Well, that's false. It's actually a great product with a really poor price point, released during a very tumultuous time for MTG products while the economy is still in recovery from 2020 and will be for some time. In other words, it's high risk. It's a super high risk product, and for the bulls who bought pre-sale, well, they either took a big loss or they sold the product back, which is a pain in the butt for sellers and buyers. Now, on this channel, I talk a lot about bulls and bears, and 90% of you know what I'm talking about, but for those that don't, a bull thinks the price of a product will go up, a bear thinks the price of a product will go down. In the stock market, they mostly just yell at each other and call each other idiots, and in MTG, it's not that much different. If Commander Masters were like Mystery Booster Retail 1.0, where we just got a bunch of great reprints like Mana Crypt in a Chaos-style draft-type set where boxes were around $100, I'd have literally zero complaints about Commander Masters. But it's not like that product. This one clown in our comments actually said that we are trying to tank the prices of Commander Masters boxes so that we can buy them up cheaper when people capitulate and sell them. Man, I wish we had that kind of pull on this channel, but most people who play MTG do not watch YouTube about MTG. So this is just a channel where we're talking about how we feel. What a concept. I do like to think that we do have a small impact on those people that are waking up and saving themselves some money. Now, a big positive about our channel is we are not a store, which means we do not have a vested interest in how a product does, which is such a relief because we don't have to sit here and tell you every product is a befitting product for our mantelpiece. So when something sucks, we say it sucks, and when something is great, well, we call it great. Now, this set is pretty much comparable to Double Masters 2022. It's expensive, it's a premium product packed with high value reprints. Draft boxes are expensive, and collector boxes have 4 packs instead of 12. They're like $50 a pack. Now, there are frame break foils in this product, just like Double Masters had textured foils. Frame break foil, textured foil, tomato, tomato. It's all the same thing. So the set size is different, and it's larger than Double Masters 2022, but a big thing to note is there are no serialized cards in this product. There was no serialized cards in Double Masters 2022, but we're going to get to that in a second. The even bigger difference is Double Masters 2022 came out before all of the serialized cards that we know about. That's the big thing. The stuff in Brothers War, the serialized cards in March of the Machine, most notably the serialized cards in the One of One ring that came out of Lord of the Rings. People all see those as highly collectible cards. Here's the thing is people really thought the textured foils in Double Masters 2022 were going to be this highly collectible thing, and they overpaid for them. They overpaid for the product chasing textured foils. I even remember some people in our comments being like, textured foils are going to 1,000 a piece. You guys are stupid if you're not buying them. I think WotC expected a lot of FOMO on frame break foils, but a lot of the OGs and people who were there for Double Masters 2022, they were not duped again. So good for you guys that didn't get duped. We saw textured foils from Double Masters 2022 lose nearly 75 to 80% or more of their pre-sale value. Ouch. Yeesh. Sheesh. Whatever you want to say. Really bad for bulls, really good for bears. Not really. Bears in this, you can't like buy puts on textured foils. You can't short textured foils. So really just anybody who bought them took a fat loss. And I want to share this with you. This is a screenshot from a year ago when Double Masters 2022 came out. And we are just looking at full art notables, non-foil. These are the most notable cards from the set that are all mythics. And I'm going to show you a screenshot compared from when I first started tracking these cards and one from just today. And you can see the price difference on these 14 cards I've been tracking since July 6, 2022, a year and a month later, have lost 57.5% of their value, right around that. So where is the bounce? Well, it's not there, and it won't be. This is a product of the variant era, and sure, some of the cards may rebound years later if they weren't reprinted again and again and again, but we all know that they will get reprinted, and when they do, the big hits are going to get 3 different versions: a normal, an etched, a full art, an extended art, a confetti foil, a textured foil, an etched whatever, an etched textured smelling foil, whatever. That's so much product going into circulation. That's the big thing to think about. So all of this to say, we have learned a ton since July of 2022 when Double Masters 2022 was released, which brings us to why Commander Masters failed despite being a set packed with good cards. Number 1, we got to learn from the past. Double Masters 2022 showed us that even if something is special and textured and new, if it's easy to get, no one cares. Since Double Masters 2022, MTG players have been conditioned to hunt for serialized cards because they are finite, and things that are finite have this implied value because they are rare and there can't be more of them. Commander Masters did not have serialized cards, but again, we're going to talk more about serialized cards and what I think about the future of those, so don't go anywhere. Number 3, the price of the product was way too high for what it offered. Whatever it was sold to distributors for from Wizards of the Coast caused an even greater markup once it made it to the LGS, which made it really unattractive to players and especially unattractive to people who knew what they were getting into. Now let's talk about serialized cards, because the thing about serialized cards is they are a double-edged sword, in my opinion. I do like serialized cards in small doses. If WotC does it with every set, it becomes old hat, and you don't get to have a big serialized pump every time a new set comes out. So I'm excited that there were no serialized cards in Commander Masters. I'm excited that there were no serialized cards in Wilds of Eldraine. I hope that Wizards of the Coast continues to pump the brakes on serialized cards. This also puts Wizards of the Coast in a situation where they have to keep innovating because of the product burnout. If those are no longer special, the serialized cards, now they have to come up with something, I don't know, new, like confetti foils. Whoops, actually, those are already a real thing. But you know what I'm saying. WotC has really blown the lid off of reprints. As we stated earlier, every rare or mythic reprinted these days gets 3 new variants a set. And all of those pump so much more supply into the market, making most of the stuff you open these days, good or bad, it's all going to drop in price. It's a wonderful time to be a player. It's a wonderful time to be a new collector. A lot of the OGs and people that have collected for years have been taken out to pasture, and this product sucked because of all the reasons I just listed. In the past couple years, people have learned a lot. We've got taken for a ride, and honestly, we're over it. So let's talk about my strategy that's saving me a ton of money on cards. I no longer FOMO out at all when I see a set. It doesn't matter what the set is, where it came from, what it's about. Wizards of the Coast has set it up to where the collectors that used to be interested in new products and sets, just like I talked about, are no longer interested. It's hurting their brand. Now, I normally say wait a month or two after a set comes out to buy singles. If you have a price you're willing to pay for a card, buy it when it dips to that price and be satisfied with your purchase. Don't look back. That's always a good rule of thumb. You can't time the bottom, so have a price that works for you, and if it goes lower, okay. If it goes higher, then great. For me, at this point, I'm just waiting forever, because MTG is the dip that just keeps on dipping, and it's so nice to not have to sugarcoat it. Have a good one.